Hi, I'm Renee from Autism Services at the Maltby Center. Are you looking for ways to keep your child learning while schools are closed? We love structured tasks for teaching children with autism because they use visual cues and routine, which are probably both strengths for your child. Today, I'm going to show you how to make and use a structured task to work on sorting. You can use this task to match or to sort things in hundreds of different ways, depending on your child's learning needs. But we'll show you two examples: sorting by color for early learners, and sorting things to written words for kids who are working on reading skills. I have some video of Christina, an instructor therapist at Maltby Center, who teaches her son to use both versions of this task so that you can watch a real expert using prompts to teach and then feeding those prompts so that her child learns to do it on his own. Later, there'll be some ideas for other ways that you could set up tasks for sorting by color or for word. But let's start by making a craft. So this is the task for sorting by color that I've made today. I've started with an egg carton lid, and that's my base and it keeps things all together. And I really like tasks that are all together in one container, I guess, because it encourages us as parents to use them today, put them away, and to bring them out again tomorrow, because it's not a hassle to bring out. It's all there right together. So it's easy to use and easy to keep. Now, the containers we're actually sorting into, these are toilet paper tubes. And I've just covered them in some construction paper that I've held on with some tape. These ones have Scotch tape, but I use some white tape here so that you can see it. And I've also used tape to hold them onto the cardboard of the egg crate for my base. Now, when it came to what are the colored things that I'm going to sort into these containers, I have to say it was really a no-brainer. I chose Lego bricks, and I chose these for a few different reasons. First of all, each brick is one solid color, so it's not confusing. You know exactly where it's supposed to get sorted into. Secondly, they're really small. So each one of these tubes is probably going to hold a dozen or maybe even more Lego bricks before it gets full. So I know it's going to work with my task. And finally, I have to tell you, I must have hundreds of these things around the house. So it was really the first thing I thought of when I thought of what can I match by color. Now, I could put these Legos straight into the egg carton here. But you know how when kids are involved and everything is gonna get all mixed up and out of place, the minute the Lego bricks start getting back in here and mixed up and in between these tubes, that's when it starts getting frustrating for your child to reach in there and get them. Or maybe it's gonna be frustrating for you to have to prompt your child in there to get them. So instead of putting them just loose like that, I am gonna add this little Tupperware container. And I've just put a piece of tape and a loop on the back to hold that into my egg crate, and that will keep all of my Lego pieces together and nicely organized. So this is a nicely visually structured task. It has lots of clear visual structure to make it easy to see what to do with this task. It is not fancy, but it is functional. And if you're a crafty person, which I am definitely not, yours is going to look way better than mine. So before we get to watching some video of Christina, let's take a minute to talk about how to teach this task. Before you go get your child and just give it a whirl, you want to set the task up so that the container of Lego is probably going to be on the child's left and the tubes on the right. And if when your child actually gets there, that's not the way it is, do turn it around, because you want to teach your child to work from the left to the right. And that routine is going to help your child with a lot of other things in life, including schoolwork. Next, take a minute to set the stage so that you and your child both come to your awesome new task with a really positive frame of mind. You don't want to fight. You want to introduce chores and learning tasks as easy and fun. So don't draw your child away from a favorite show or activity, but try to find a time when you might see the structured task as interesting, maybe if she's bored. Next, gather some things that your child really likes so that you can pair them up with your task. Pairing new things with known reinforcers is an ABA trick that will help your child like the task more right off the hop. Tiny little bits of special treats your child doesn't get often, like really special cookies or candy, are great for pairing and for reinforcing afterwards too. And that can make a big difference in your child's cooperation and willingness to accept your prompting. And now, most important, before starting to teach, you need to get into your own happy place because you need to be enthusiastic and give lots of praise. Remember, you're not just teaching a task, you're teaching how wonderful things are when your child is learning from you. And that's an even bigger life lesson. So when you have everything ready to go, that's when it's time to go get your child. You'll use hand over hand prompting to gently and quickly move through the task. Excuse me. You want to show your child how to do the job the right way and stop any mistakes before they happen if possible. You also want to fade your prompts gradually, but as quickly as possible, so that you're helping less as your child is catching on. And when the task is done, of course, you're going to reinforce with praise and probably a treat. Now, yes, it can be tricky to fade your prompts back, but still prevent your child from making mistakes. Every child will learn at a different pace, and the amount of help that you have to give really depends on the amount of the work that your child is doing and how well your child is doing. You have to back off, but you have to be ready to step back in again really quickly to prevent a mistake or to get things back on track. So let's watch our professional therapist, Christina, try it out. Here we go. Isn't he just the most adorable thing ever? Okay, let's go. So Christina's starting by giving full physical prompting. She is doing all the work at this point. But when she feels them starting to catch on, she's backing up a little bit, fading her prompts to only a partial physical guidance. He's doing some of the work. And now she's faded even further to just gestures. And it's still going well, so she's decided to let him try on his own. And he can do it, except he's gotten a little bit off task here. So she's given another gestural prompt, had to move to a physical prompt. And he's back on track, and he's done. And that was awesome. Let's watch one more time. Full physical prompt. It's going well, so she's faded back to a partial physical prompt. It's still going well, no mistakes, so she's faded further to a gesture. Still going well, no mistakes, so she's letting him try on his own. No mistakes, but he's a little off track. Gestural prompt. She has to give a physical prompt. Back to a gesture. And back on track. And done. There we go. Now, your child might not catch on quite as quickly as Christina's son did. You might find yourself spending longer at each prompt level, and you might even give full physical guidance all the way through the task for the first few times that you do it. Don't give up. Just keep practicing and fade your prompts back as soon as you feel your child starting to take over. Or if you're not feeling your child try to start taking over after doing this task many, many times, just try fading back and see what happens. Bring your prompt level right back up if you need to. That's okay. Just don't give up and keep on trying. Now, Christina is going to teach the same task, only instead of matching colors to colors, she's going to be matching the colored bricks to the written word for the colors. So let's see that. Again, starting with full physical guidance. And that seems to be going well. So she's fading back to partial guidance. Oh, but she had to give a little bit of help there, I see. Looks like he's back to doing it on his own again. She's trying to fade again. It's going well with gestures. And it's going so well that she's tried to let him do it independently, but she's watching carefully and she jumps in there with a prompt when she needs to. And again, praise and reinforce. That was just fantastic. There we go. So I love those tasks where you're actually sorting the colored brick to the word for the color. For the kids who love colors and are really interested in them, that might even be the first words that they learn to read are the words for the colors. You know, the kids that I'm talking about. These are the kids who love crayons and love markers and pay a lot of attention to colors, probably learned color matching pretty early on. Um, and that's a great way to practice known words and to introduce new words. But if reading words is new for your child, you can consider an intermediate step. And you can put both the color and the color word right on the label. Putting a prompt right in the label, like writing the word red with a red marker, that's called an embedded prompt. And that will help your child catch on more quickly. Once this step is mastered, you can switch the labels one at a time for the word written in a regular plain black marker, let's say, without the color cues. And that kind of eases into a harder version of the task. There are an endless number of ways that you can build structured tasks for sorting, and it's limited only by your own imagination. The first task here uses a dollar store basket and a container that strawberries came in, and some more of those small Tupperware containers. But by using tiny little beads to sort, this could also be a fine motor practice task for some children. The next task uses an egg carton, and I put in all those broken halves of the plastic eggs that we had around the house at the end of April. And to match, there's some bits of broken crayons in the same colors. And this third task was made from a takeout container with some paper cups to sort animal figurines into. And what all of these tasks have in common, and what the tasks that you might come up with should have in common, is that they're designed to be used from left to right. All the pieces that are needed are there, and they're visually structured so that it's clear what needs to be done. Oh, I wonder how that happened. There we go. That's better. Now we're at the end of the presentation, so I just have a couple of closing thoughts for you. Keep it short. One successful minute a day is going to teach a skill much better than 5 minutes of struggle. Keep it sweet. Be positive, keep praising, keep reinforcing. Prompt only as much as your child needs to be successful. And make it a routine. All kids like routine, especially kids with autism. Routine is comforting, and anything that becomes part of your routine is going to be easier for your child to accept and to learn. Thanks for watching, and happy structured teaching.